All set, you guys? Set? All right, great. Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me clearly? Yes, good. Okay, perfect. Well, welcome to the Global Launch Lounge. This is a very, very exciting and important part of the Global Entrepreneurship Summit. Just a quick introduction. My name is Ziad Haider. I'm the Department of State's Special Representative for Commercial and Business Affairs. The office that I head up is charged with promoting entrepreneurship globally in the State Department. And one of the things that we're most proud of is our role in helping organize the summit itself. I would just say at the onset that obviously a big part and emphasis, as you can just see from the numbers of the summit, is the entrepreneurs themselves. That's all right. Come on up, please. It's all right. Come on, we're in informal. So a big emphasis of the summit is obviously the entrepreneurs. If you look at the numbers, we have 700 entrepreneurs here. And it's important for us to find ways to continue to support them for the reasons that Secretary Kerry laid out this morning. So in addition to the work we do through the summit and this platform that we've helped to create, we also do a lot of work as a government, working with other governments on regulatory issues, on IP issues, and a host of other things that you all, I'm sure, are familiar with, given that you cover these issues. But ultimately, everything that we do in government, all it does is allow ideas to flourish. And the people behind me are the ones who actually bring the capital to make those ideas into something more, into action, into reality. So I'm immensely proud of the work that they're doing. I've had a chance to briefly thank them in person. And I just want to say again, thank you before you speak more about your specific commitments, that without all of you, this would be an excellent networking opportunity, an excellent speaking platform, but it wouldn't actually allow people to get the resources to make their ideas into something real and actionable and impactful. So with that, the format for this is going to be fairly straightforward. I'm going to introduce the individuals who will be speaking in order. They'll come up, they'll briefly speak for about 3 to 5 minutes. They'll take their seats, and then when they've all presented, at that point, we'll open it up to you all for any questions that you may have that they'll be happy to answer. And we have about 45 minutes total for the interaction for this particular segment. So we're going to start off with Andrew B., who's the Managing Director of Obvious Ventures, who will kick us off. After that, we'll have Monique Woodward and David McClure, who are with 500 Startups. After that, we'll have Christy Chin and Jim Bildner, who are with Drape Richards Kaplan Foundation. And then we will have Shiza Shahid and Kevin Laws, who are respectively with the Malala Fund and Angel List. And again, we will let each of them speak briefly before we come to the Q&As at aggregate at the end. So again, with that, thank you so very much. And let's start with Andrew.
Thank you very much. My name is Andrew Beebe. I'm the Managing Director at Obvious Ventures. This is a great event for a lot of reasons. Obvious Ventures focuses on world positive investing. And for us, that means finding great entrepreneurs who are solving the world's biggest problems. In the world of venture, there are a lot of different approaches, and we don't see that much world positive investing happening. And yet, up on this stage with these amazing other investors, and throughout the morning in the general session, we saw a lot of it. So it feels sort of like a homecoming, or at least home week in the world of world positive. The other fun thing, and sort of a homecoming for me, is that I found out as I walked in that my first investor back when I was an entrepreneur in 1998 was actually going to be in the audience, and that's Bill Draper. So I was very happy to hear that. Great to see you again, Bill. He was the only investor who asked me what my GPA in college was and invested despite the answer. So today we are thrilled to announce our second winner for our second World Positive Prize. We do what we call World Positive Investing, but we've also just tried to create a separate movement around, or be part of a separate movement around World Positive Investing, and that's led us to seek out entrepreneurs beyond the typical set of people who might come inbound or through our sort of well-traveled Silicon Valley network. And we were thrilled when GES offered to open up the amazing group of entrepreneurs to our prize and reach out to them. 2 weeks ago, we reached out and we received 120 applicants for our $50,000 investment and coaching that we were going to offer as part of the prize. We narrowed that down over the last 2 weeks to 25, and then today we met in a very rapid fashion with the 5 finalists. The 5 finalists were extraordinary, from education to healthcare to water technology and to solar. And as we went through the different, I was actually keeping numerical rankings and trying to get make it sort of an easy choice at the end, and it was not an easy choice. I think most of the finalists are here, and regardless of the winner, I think all of them deserve incredible attention, and hopefully we'll find investors around this stage and around the event today. So without further ado, I want to announce our winner for the 2016 World Positive Prize is Solstice Initiative. And Steph, the president and co-founder, is here. Steph Spears is here, and she's going to come up, and she didn't know this, she's going to come up and just say a couple of quick words. Congratulations. And I think we have a massive check as well, because, you know, why not? Congrats, you bet. Thank you. Let's do, yes. All right. There it is.
I don't know how
there,
I've
just,
never
yeah,
got
you
one
just,
of these in my
yes.
life.
You can endorse the back. I'll take this and you take the stage.
Why don't you take a minute and just...
Yeah, thank you for not telling me I would have to prepare anything. My name is Steph Spears. My buddy Steve and I started Solstice 2 years ago because we noticed that in America, the people that needed solar savings the most, the people that could use money on their electricity, save money on their electricity bills, were currently in America the least likely to get solar. So 80% of America is locked out of the solar market because they cannot put it on top of their own rooftop. And so we said, why don't you forget about rooftops? Why don't you guys give people the ability to buy a portion of a neighborhood shared solar farm, and they can switch to solar that way. For the past over 100 years, electricity in America has been the same. The way we get electricity has been the same. And we're living in the first generation where we're going to change that. So it's not a question of whether the clean energy transition will happen. We're concerned about whether it will be as inclusive as possible. Will everyone get to benefit from the benefits of the green economy? So thank you so much to Obvious Ventures for allowing us to do this work. Thank you for all of our other supporters out there. And thank you so much. This is very unexpected, as evidenced by this. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Dave McClure. I'm the founding partner of 500 Startups. We're a venture capital firm headquartered here in Silicon Valley. My partner, Monique Woodard, is also here with me. We're going to be announcing a $25 million fund to invest in Black and Hispanic entrepreneurs here in the U.S. We hope to make between 100 to 200 investments over the next couple of years. And leading those efforts is going to be Monique.
Hi, everyone. I'm Monique Woodard. I'm a venture partner at 500 Startups. And I really believe that the next big emerging market is domestic. And that's bolstered by changes in demographics and changes in economics that we're seeing in the U.S., like the $2.5 trillion in consumer spending power in the Black and Latino community, and the fact that people of color will be the majority by the year 2044. On top of that, I think that Black and Latino entrepreneurs are undercapitalized, and I think that we can do a lot to really fund these entrepreneurs and fund the next big emerging market in the U.S. To that end, we're announcing the $25 million micro fund within 500 Startups that I will be running along with Dave. We're incredibly excited. We think that we're going to see a lot of successes come out of this fund. We've already been investing very aggressively in Black and Latino founders. Some of our biggest hits in our portfolio come from companies like Maven and companies like Walker & Co., and we're really wanting to continue to that focus. I've been working with Black entrepreneurs for most of my career in tech. I'm the co-founder of Black Founders, and I know that there are great founders out there and great deals for us to have. I'm hoping that other investors come along with us, and we see more co-investing happening in this area as well. So thank you very much. We're extremely excited.
Sorry, I'd just like to make one other comment. Clarify, we're not doing this out of the goodness of our hearts or because we're good Samaritans or because, we think that people don't get enough money who happen to be black or Hispanic. We're doing it because we think we're going to make money, because these entrepreneurs are talented, they're undercapitalized, and because probably close to a third of our economy, a third of our population is black and Hispanic. We think it's really great investment, and we hope you'll join us in investing in black and Latino entrepreneurs in the U.S. Thank you.
Here we go. Oops, let's see. You split? I guess they don't split. Come on, Christy. So I'm Jim Bildner, and this is Christy Chin. I'm the managing partner and CEO of Draper Richards Kaplan Foundation. Christy is a partner. And in the audience, we have the guy who really started this. So there's Bill Draper. I tried to get him up here. He's never really that shy. But we began in 2002 with Bill and Robin Richards' vision, which is that social enterprises really have the capacity to change the world. And starting with the first fund, which was their money, around $14 million, that supported 30 portfolio organizations. And then in 2010, Rob Kaplan joined them, and that became Fund 2, and that was $33 million and 56 investments. That began the cornerstone of what we do. And we, like you, don't do this from the goodness of our heart. We do this because we think the time is so urgent today to be able to find entrepreneurs who want to make a difference, have the capacity to make the difference. And in our first two funds, we've had legendary entrepreneurs who we've had the privilege of working together as operating partners, Room to Read, One Acre Fund, Kiva, Education Superhighway more recently. And today, in December, we made our 100th investment. And today, we're amazed and honored and privileged to announce that we are kicking the close of our third fund, which will be $65 million to fund another 100 social enterprises between now and 2022. And what is clear to us, and based on the wonderful legacy we have from Bill and Robin and Rob Kaplan and a team of 20, is that there'll be a Fund 4, a Fund 5, and a Fund 6, and that this work that we all feel just incredibly honored to do will continue. Christy?
Thank you. Just wanted to underscore that we are investing in social entrepreneurs, generally nonprofits, unlike the other groups on this panel. But we have funded over 100 and are looking to fund another 100. Some of the names that you might want to look out for in the future include Katie's Closet, which is working on leveraging volunteers and distributing clothes to allow homeless children or foster care kids to stay in school. And another group that you might want to watch is Adventure Scientists. They're working on getting hard to collect data. They just had a press release in The Guardian to talk about the microplastics. These are the types of issues that we're working on a domestic and an international level. And look at our portfolio, because I think you'll be inspired by how people are changing the world.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bill, you want to say anything? Okay.
All right. I'm just going to start by saying how honored we are to be with these guys and girls who've all been pioneers in this space, and to thank you all for being here. The reporters in this room, I know that there's a lot going on, so we appreciate your time and your presence for these issues. So we're here to announce Now Ventures, which is a new micro venture fund and platform that will invest in startups that inherently make the world a better place. We're going to build out a portfolio that is both profitable and purpose-driven to demonstrate what we all believe in, which is that mission-driven companies are the best investments. The long-term goal for us is to shift culture so that mission-driven investing becomes the rule, not the exception. I say the word platform because it's deeply personal to me that this be a platform so that we can bring the various stakeholders together to collaborate, and that's why our partnerships with AngelList in particular, but also with leading entrepreneurs, investors, and institutions like Silicon Valley Bank are very, very important to us. For me, the long-term vision is to demonstrate that when we invest in founders who are purposeful, that everyone benefits. My own path to venture investing into this moment is highly non-traditional. someone, when I was 17, decided that it was worth it to invest in a 17-year-old girl in Pakistan, and I got a scholarship to Stanford. And I decided to pay that forward by mentoring girls in the north of Pakistan who were denied an education by the Taliban. And 5 years later, one of those little girls was shot, and her name was Malala, and I ended up creating with her and her father a nonprofit called the Malala Fund. And the goal there was to shine a spotlight on her story, but really on what's possible when we invest in girls. And 2 years later, when she won the Nobel Peace Prize, the question for me was, how do we invest and enable and amplify other bold leaders around the world so that they can succeed and they can transform the world? And the forces of venture and innovation and entrepreneurship, I truly believe, are the most disruptive ways to do that. I'm going to let Kevin now talk a little bit about the AngelList side of this and how it's going to work.
Yeah, so when the Jobs Act passed in 2012, it enabled a platform like AngelList to bring together investors and entrepreneurs, and we had this idea that it would be used broadly to extend the mix of people who become entrepreneurs and the people who can invest in them. When we looked at the mix a couple years ago of who was using AngelList, it looked pretty similar to the mix of people who were already in tech, and it was absolutely making things easier online, but we did see pockets of international companies or women founders who were doing better by going on AngelList. But it wasn't happening fast enough for our tastes, so that's why we decided to work with Shiza in creating a fund that would lead these investments and encourage more of these entrepreneurs to go on AngelList and connect into the regular and traditional tech investors that can help grow these companies. And so that was AngelList's involvement, because we believe very passionately that the fastest way to change something is to demonstrate there's a return in it, because then you don't need to convince people on the heart, although that always helps. You just have to show them what happens to their pocketbook when they invest in these areas. So that was our involvement, and we're very excited to be part of building up Now Ventures and helping it work on AngelList.
Well, thank you so much, both for your commitments and also for sharing some of the stories of the individuals you'll be supporting. I think it makes it so much more real for the audience. So with that, let's quickly pivot to the Q&A part of this. Any questions you have, Katie has a microphone, so she will come to you if you raise your hand. And just, you can ask general question or specific to anyone on the panel.
Hi, my name is Timur Sırt from Turkey. I'm a journalist from Daily News and also NGO Digital Transformation in Turkey. My question is about the refugees problem around the world, not only Turkey or Middle East area. Do you have any specific refugees solutions, making ventures, or support your any program?
Please. You can come up here.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, one of our core organizations is Refuge Point. And Sasha, as you may know, has been really trying to beat the drums about how, first of all, it's a huge issue. It's not an isolated issue. And one of the things that surprised us is that the average time people are in refuge status is now 20 years, which is extraordinary. And so building and changing the ecosystem that surrounds them and providing ways in which larger NGOs can deal with this in a more effective way. Because it's not just about moving them, it's about creating a life opportunity and access. And so it's an area we're really interested in figuring out solutions to. So in your work as a journalist and others, by all means, if you see folks working on the ground that have solutions to that, bring it forward.
Let me just say, this is not the moment for me to share what we're doing as a government on this. It's really the moment of these individuals here. But World Refugee Day was last week, last Monday actually, or was it this Monday? This Monday actually. And there was a great deal that happened from the US government front. I would just say specific to GES to keep it focused. One of the programs that we have is a policy hack where we're asking entrepreneurs who are here to come together to work through a particular policy challenge. And today at 5 p.m., one of the questions they'll be working through is this refugee crisis. So it's a piece of the puzzle. If you're interested in attending that, we can connect those dots. Other questions?
Hi, my name is Neethal Parak. I'm the founder of Innovate Social, and we build tools and content for social entrepreneurs. My question is, I think one of the most disruptive areas within social enterprise is the measurement of impact. So I'm curious for each of your funds and ventures, how will you measure or ask your entrepreneurs to measure and report impact?
Great. The big question of the day, how do you measure social impact? So we fund across a wide range of issue areas: education, healthcare, human rights, economic development. And so it's hard to have one metric. So what we ask, we have a very rigorous process, and we ask our entrepreneurs to submit a 3 to 5 year plan, and also to think about what their end game is. How are they going to be more than a social entrepreneur, but a systems entrepreneur, and change the system? So in the case of Refugee Point, how do you change the UNHCR's way of allocating spots for refugees, such that not only Refuge Point, but many other organizations are able to move refugees into other places. So we have them report to us on an annual basis, and also report to their boards on an annual basis on their one key metric. But in our annual report that was just released on our website, we talk about the stories, because the stories are what are really important, and so you need the analytics as well as the stories, because it's the quality of the intervention as well.
For us, it's actually really simple. It's actual dollars that are made. So we're investing, although we certainly feel that there's a lot of positive other metrics that could be measured, the number of minority founders that we invest in, the number of jobs that they create. Certainly for us, the return on our investment and our investors' money that we're putting to work is going to be the measure. And we think we will make money because we think it's a segment of the country that's not getting capital and has plenty to offer.
So this is not a social impact fund, but I do believe that all investing has impact. So our fund is a returns-based fund. So at the end of the day, IRR rules the day for us.
Thanks for that question. So just to add on, for us, we're trying to prove that mission-driven investments are a better investment. There's 4 areas that we look at. First, is the product or service inherently good for the world? Second, do we authentically believe that the founder is driven to have a positive impact? Third, does the organization represent the world we live in? So is there diversity? Are there women? Is there a plan to include diverse voices? And fourth, is the company governed with values that we believe in? But we also want to help founders understand how they can make their business mission-driven, because for us, that's the future. It's not capturing a certain type of business and saying these are mission-driven and these are for returns, but learning how to bring those two together. And then the third piece of that for us will be data and research. So I think, there's been pioneers in this space, some of them in this room, but we're also early and we're still learning. And so whether it's leveraging our data and creating research partnerships, or AngelList's data, which is some of the most extensive data on early stage investing, helping to build that knowledge.
What she said. I had a big spiel, but actually that was really perfectly. Yeah. I mean, I think there is I'll just add that I think there's a difference on the nonprofit side where you really do need to look at alternate forms of measurement. I think there's a coalescence going on the World Positive Investing side, where what we do is we put that filter up front. So you're not going to make it into the pitch room with the partners of our firm unless it's crystal clear to us from the outset that you're doing something to tackle one of the systemic challenges of our time. And if you are doing that, we want you in, but from that point forward, it's a venture decision. We look at team, timing, technology, and TAM. That's sort of like our 4 total addressable market. Those are our 4 things once they've made it through that first screen. And I think that that's what you're hearing on the investment side from everyone up here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for all these opportunities. Actually, as a GAS, I came all the way from Dubai to share with you my experience, 15 years in Washington with USAID projects covering the world, as well as doing my own thing. Being a management technology consulting for almost 20 years, I came recently to a situation which came like 10 years ago, looking at it from the technology point of view, the human point of view, and the impact on the population. I give you examples, quick
Sorry,
example.
I'm just going to interrupt you in the interest of time. We just want to make sure that they're able to explain the commitments they made. If you could get to the question for them, I think it'd be, so we can get a few other questions.
Okay,
Thank
the
you.
idea is really, I have a company which does really facilities management and development life cycle in the real estate and construction. But I take it from really the safe, secure, sustainable environment. And this frame of work is my own, and I practiced it. The second part of it is really educating people.
Sorry, again, is there a question that you wanted to ask?
The question is, how far or what is the criteria? And the money value that we can come up, maybe could be a combination of this to set up some kind of a fund whereby we can promote this for education, vocational training, to get people who are technically oriented to cover this development life cycle.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
How much, are we okay with time? Okay, good. Does anyone want to have a response to that? Okay, well, maybe it's talk after. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, you can take it up after with the panel. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, excellent. Good. Well, yeah, please.
So mostly question to the investors. As somebody coming from outside Europe, and we have our own connection in Europe, but we'd love to play in the US. But we don't know you. The only thing is we're a finalist at the competition that Andrew helped host. That's the thing. So how do we start from zero when we're just coming here? And we're like the finalists, I don't know, other people in the room? Who's coming from Europe or from outside? Okay, Africa.
So let me just let me just put a slight angle on that, which is for those of you who are announcing funds that you're setting up or are going to be looking to make investments, individuals who are out there who are hearing this, how should they be thinking about approaching you?
So it's angel.co/now. I would suggest creating an angel list profile and then contacting us at angel.co/now. That'll contain information about how to get to Shiza. My name? The email.
Well, let's take that offline. I think that's fine. Any other, please?
We'll give them your email address now.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Great. We at Draper Richards Kaplan Foundation have always had an open application process. Anyone can apply to us at any time, and we take great pride in seeing a wide range of entrepreneurs come to us and try and be a conduit to help you, if you're not a good fit for us, help you find the right fit. And so we just would encourage more foundations and more funders to be open to those open applications, but it never hurts to have a reference. And so if there's someone you know that knows one of us, by all means use that, because it just gives your application just a little bit more of a attention. And so I would always, and it shows that you're resourceful, and we respect that quite a bit.
Yeah. And concretely, it's www.drkfoundation.org. And when you email us, you can say you sat behind Bill Draper. And we're likely to read the email.
Let me just add one thing.
Did you want to add something?
You know, Brian, CEO of Airbnb, spoke earlier at the plenary, and I think you guys probably saw it. Amazing talk. And one of the things, his advice was, be shameless, right? You really have to push your way into things. And I think you've all done a great job of that already. You're here. And as investors, I was on the entrepreneurial side for 15 years beforehand, so I'm going to give some tricks of the trade from both sides, but as a lot of people up on the stage can do. But, one of the things that you forget is that we look for those filters already. So anyone who's in this room already, we probably do want to hear the pitch, and that's our job. It's just the thousands of people coming in the front door, the info at email address, it's more challenging. So once you're here, I'm sort of serious. Don't let them leave until at least you've had a chance to share your elevator pitch.
And I'm going to just make a shameless pitch here as well, which is, for those of you who are here who are from the press side, obviously this question's coming from an entrepreneur, but I would hope and I would sort of request that when you're covering some of these commitments, it's not just the dollar amounts, but it's actually letting a young entrepreneur in your country who's reading this and reading about this commitment understand the pathways to actually access that. So hopefully that response is helpful more globally. So, did you want to add something?
So even though my fund is U.S. focused, 500 Startups broadly invests all over the world, and we do have 4 accelerator batches a year in San Francisco and Mountain View, and now Mexico City. So you can feel free to email me at monique@500.co. I don't mind giving out my email address. It's great if you have an AngelList profile also. You should make one.
Okay, any other questions? Or,
Sorry, one other comment. Hustle.
That's a verb.
Is this on? Taking on that question for 500, African Americans and Latinos are very global populations, and so have you also considered then what kind of diasporic type of companies would look like, and if you would invest in them? Because it's they have these big global networks that create larger opportunities beyond borders as well.
Question was around what do we do with minority entrepreneurs who aren't in the U.S.? Might have. Sure. We're wide open to those folks going after the larger African American market or African diaspora. I should let Monique answer this.
Definitely. We want to see these entrepreneurs be able to expand beyond the U.S. I think that's the big goal, right? So there are certainly times when an entrepreneur will be starting in the U.S. but will expand their business beyond these borders, and we hope to see that quite often. And we are a very global investment fund, and we support spreading as far and wide as that company can. And I think that our global reach will only help these entrepreneurs to grow their businesses. So.
We actually already are investing in Latin America and in Africa. We've done over 100 investments in Mexico, Brazil, Peru, Venezuela, and probably at least 10 or so in Africa so far. We still have more work to do in Africa.
Thank you so much. Okay, well, I think that's all the time we have. Let me just say in closing that I just want to, again, really sincerely thank all of the individuals behind, because as I said, without capital, ideas are just ideas. Importantly for you all to know, through the policy launch, through the Global Launch Lounge, you'll be hearing over the course of the next 3 days announcements in around about 200 million or so, and this is just some of them. But in aggregate, over the course of GS, we're expecting commitments of 10 billion plus. And if you would like to get more details on that delta between what you hear here and what will be announced tomorrow, there will be a more detailed fact sheet that will be issued by the White House where you can get all of that information. So with that, thank you so much again to everyone on the stage and to all of you for making the time. Thanks.